And welcome back to the FloMarching Studios here in Austin, Texas for the intermission edition of Taking the Field. I'm Emily Tannert-Patterson, and once again, I'm joined in the studio tonight by Josh Gall.
Hello.
Josh, it has been a fun first half out in Carolina.
Yeah, I think we've seen sort of a nice statement from some of these corps who just performed less than 24 hours ago in Atlanta. So it's exciting to see a great start to the show.
Yeah, quick turnaround to have two big shows back to back.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's jump right into talking about the corps. Phantom up first, continuing to fight hard to maintain their spot in that top 12 and maybe even advance a little bit over where they're sitting right now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think we talked earlier about the strength of that corps being the musical ensemble and how that sort of maybe helped propel them forward last night. I think that probably is the same case this evening. I thought that musically they had a really, really strong run, and certainly they're continuing to advance both the visual and just the overall effect part of their program. So I think that they did a nice job tonight.
Yeah, visually it's a very demanding program with the manipulation of the props, the tarps down front, the unorthodox placement of the front sideline with the angles of the front ensemble, which creates another layer of difficulty for the music ensemble to stay together when some of your players are turned off to the side that way. They're listening to sound coming from a different place. And I thought that musically they've gotten a lot stronger in the last week, definitely a lot cleaner, a lot clearer, more balanced, etc.
Yeah, and I think we're even starting to see the way that they interact with the props, interact with that front tarp. They're continuing to explore new possibilities there, so it's exciting to see what they're maybe have in store for us coming down the road.
Definitely not resting in their current state, that's for sure.
That's right.
And no, that was not a music pun. Resting.
I don't believe you.
So. Gee, tough crowd. All right, let's talk about the cadets. We got word in the middle of the show that they actually have a virus running through the corps. It's really common this point in tour.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that you're faced with. I mean, you've got 150 people plus volunteers plus staff who are traveling together, and you do your best to stay as healthy as possible. And unfortunately, I think that they were met with some challenges. But even though that was they were facing that, I think that they still had a nice showing tonight. And one of the things I think that's special about this organization is the way that they approach the end of the year. There's no time off. There's no time to rest. I mean, they embrace the task at hand, and I think that we probably saw and heard that tonight.
And it's to a credit that I'm sure some of those kids didn't feel good, but they marched anyway. They only had, I believe it's 13 holes is the figure that I saw via social media. And obviously that corps is going to regroup, and the adults will support the students moving forward. I think their corps director posted he believes that they've got it kind of nipped and taken care of, which we want to see that group at full strength.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Cavaliers, the green team. We've got a great angle tonight. That high cam is really high, and so we're really being able to see and hear and appreciate all of the different textures. As this show progresses and gets more polished, I can really hear and appreciate all of the different musical ideas that they're putting forth, from the whistling to the very subtle integration of electronics to the variety of ways that they integrate the percussion unit with the horns. I just find it more impressive all the time.
Yeah, well, I think what Michael Martin does is, as the brass arranger, I mean, he treats bolero and all of the other source material with significant creativity, and we're able to see and hear that throughout their production, and they're another corps who belongs in this home stretch to finals, and we're going to just see them get stronger and stronger. And I think that their strength is really across the board. I think percussively they're doing well. I think visually they're doing well. So they're certainly not going to slow down.
And we talked during the pre-show about how they have 12 shows in the next 18 days, and you were commenting that it's kind of their staff's nature to set them up to learn to perform better through performance. And I thought last night we saw a couple of hiccups from them, and that tonight was steadier and more polished and more just calm and correct, if you will.
Yeah, and that's a sign of a professional, and both professional on the performance start, but also on the end of the teaching, and I think that it's important to be able to recover quickly and sort of just move forward with the task at hand and say, you know, we're pros, we know how to do this, and I think that they showed up tonight, and I thought that they had a very, very strong performance.
And last but certainly not least, Boston, our beach boys and girls. So many great things that we can talk about this show, but again, with the really high angle we're getting tonight, I'm really able to appreciate how visually dynamic this this particular presentation is.
Yeah, well, what Leon May has done, and he's the visual designer there. I mean, he has created a significant variety of texture, as you can see here, between the, what's happening on the back of side 1 to something that's curvilinear over here on side 2, and then, great use of body and choreography. I mean, there's always something to look at, and they've done such a good job of that this year, and it seems like they're not slowing down. I mean, there's sort of always something being added. I mean, we saw the new ending last night, and I think from a variety standpoint, you're seeing great drill. The guard is fantastic this year. They won guard, I think, last night, and just the number of visual motifs that are there, I think it's really a program that's a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely, and you can't beat spelling things out with flagpoles and bodies.
That's right, and they max that out.
All right. Well, lots of great drum corps already. We still have more great drum corps for you in the second half of the show. Let's take a look at the schedule for the rest of the evening. After intermission, we'll be coming back with Santa Clara Vanguard and Babylon, followed by Bluecoats with their big chairs, Blue Devils with Dreams and Nighthawks, and closing it out, the home team Carolina Crown in beast mode, I'm sure, because they've got all their fans in the stadium.
That's right. It's Beast from the East. They're back on the East Coast, so I'm anticipating a great showing from them tonight.
Well, after the scores, we'll have more Taking the Field for you. We'll be back with you then. Thanks so much for joining us here in the intermission edition of Taking the Field, and don't forget, go to FloMarching.com and vote for your fan favorite. Thanks so much. We'll see you in a bit.